look, anybody that's looking for a child wants to have a baby, or that's a couple, they want to have a baby. You know that what they want to hear is, this is what you can do, and you get pregnant in 6 months or 9 months, and you get a baby in 9 months, blah blah blah. Let's say they've been searching for a baby for 10 years, and they've not been able to get pregnant, talk less of having maybe even a miscarriage. So then you design this flyer that has on it, it's just a single page flyer because you don't have money to do more than one page. You have only enough money to print limited quantities, single page. Okay, and you decide to do this, and you want to put it up on a website. Okay, and on that website, on that web page, you just want to put that single flyer, the contents on this, in an image, because you can't afford to start typing. You don't have time. The internet connection you have, you have maybe about 30 minutes left of your time in the cyber cafe. Let's assume you're in the cyber cafe. What I'm saying is that the one page flyer you put up there, it doesn't matter how you so long as you put the message, get pregnant and have your own baby in 9 months, no matter what the difficulty you are experiencing. This is a magic formula that makes any couple looking for a child get a child. In the next 1 year, you'll be thanking me. Follow these 10 steps. You do that on the flyer. You put a picture on one side, you put your phone number on one side, you put the steps, and you squeeze everything into one place. So the whole thing is squeezed, but everything is legible. But it's not beautiful, it's not artistic, but it's there. The information is there. There's a phone number, there's an email address, there's the URL there, there's a picture of you just to show who you are. There's then maybe some kind of a like I said, the outline of the steps they are to follow. And according to you, the title of the flyer says that do these 10 things, and then get across to me, and I'll tell you the last thing you need to do to make sure that everything I've described in these 10 steps works for you perfectly, and you have a baby, and you are coming to celebrate that baby in the next 9 months. You put that on the web. I guarantee you, and I'm sure you can relate to what I'm saying. That's why you see people fall for scams, because and people that are desperate to have children, that's why they get tricked by doctors, get tricked by this spiritualists and all that, because they are desperate. So they're thinking. Now they look at your flyer, and your flyer is making this promise. Maybe they've gone to all these other places I've mentioned, all the scam artists and all that, they've been ripped off, but they're still desperate to have a child. Then they see your flyer. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. Because of the fact that they fit your targeted audience profile, they will be a motivated buyer of that solution. Because the last line says, the call to action there says, contact me for the last step you need to take for the 10 steps I've outlined here to work for you, and you have your child and celebrate that child's arrival in a year's time. They will read it. They will look for everything. You see, they'll start the minute when you want something, you know the way you're driven, you start looking for a phone number. If you are looking for something, just think about it. Whenever you've been driven to go on the internet to search for something, how many times have you been concerned with the design? I have seen Bob Dubin's website. I tell people all the time, and he and I have joked about it. Bob Dubin's website was one of the ugliest websites I've ever seen in my life, and that website was converting like mad. The man was selling digital manuals for $5,000, things you were going to download. He was selling them for $5,000. People from 5 different continents were buying from him and being meant to buy him. But Dubin's website was one of the ugliest websites. My picture was on that website at the top as sole agent for Africa. But that website was very far from being a work of art. Extreme, in my opinion, one of the ugliest websites I've seen in my life, and yet one of the most effective. So that proves to you, and that's a couple I was saying that will be looking for a baby. That's the mindset they will have. They will not be interested in all those, how beautiful is this, look at the artwork, look at the way they laid out everything. They don't care. They just want the solution, and the text they read is what matters to them. What is the text saying? The text says, this man can solve our problem. We need a baby. They will look for phone number, they'll look for email, they'll look for a photo, they'll look for additional information. If there's none, then they're going to call that phone number and send an email to that address. And they're going to be determined to keep sending emails and calling that number until they get through, because they will be determined to get to hear what you have to say. That's how you know who to listen to. Now, one of the people that I've studied over the last 15 years as an entrepreneur is Robert Kiyosaki, and I bought 4 of his books now. 3 of them I bought from Amazon.com in 2000, and then later on in 2014 I bought another of his books on them. I cannot remember the title now, but one of his much newer books. Anyway, the thing I'm trying to say is that I remember reading his book, and one of the things he said was when he began to become successful, the big challenge he experienced was that people will come to him and they will try to give him advice. You see, they would say, this thing you are trying to do, you You see, I don't think it will work because you see, and he said these people who had no experience compared to what he had as a multi-million-dollar investment expert, they will be telling him their own opinion passed down through very informal channels by people who have very little financial education and did not have the insights that he had from experience and accomplishments. They will begin to tell him, voice their opinion because they were relatives to him, they had access to him. So they begin to tell him why they thought, for instance, his concept of saying that savers and losers was wrong, which was ridiculous. The man has proven it. That's why his book, one of the best-selling books of all time on personal income. And these people saw his success and yet continued to tell him, just out of arrogance, that no, you are still wrong. So he said when he had not yet reached the pinnacle of success at that time. He was still growing in success, but he was beginning to do much better. He said these people will be coming to try and advise him on how to do even much better and supposedly give him their own opinion. And he wrote in his book, he said, I found out that many people will try to give you advice based on experiences they have never had. And that was a very profound statement. When I read that, I said, my God, this is so true. I've experienced it. I'm the one going through stuff. I'm the one that's gone through it for 5 years, for 10 years. Based on the experiences I've had, I've realized I've tested all kinds of strategies. And I found that these strategies given to me by these white guys in their books that I read don't work with the Nigerian audience I'm dealing with. So I realized that I need to tweak those strategies a bit and do it differently. And sometimes it will be a complete departure, actually, not even slightly. And when I then did that, these people who had not experienced what I experienced when I did the one that they were used to based on the book we had all read, will begin to tell me it wouldn't work. And I look at them and say, do you know what I've gone through? Do you know where I've been? Do you know who I've related with that makes me convinced that it's not worthwhile to continue this way and I need to change it up and try? So what I learned was that people will voice opinion based on experiences they do not have, just the way they feel about something. Some of them because they feel they are also equally invested in that area of endeavor like you, and they have not tried it that way, therefore it cannot work. So they will just voice their opinion. Some of them because they have a friend who they think is knowledgeable in that area of endeavor on a formal basis, maybe go to an institution where he or she got a diploma or certificate, some degree in that area of endeavor, for instance IT, maybe even sometimes something concerning internet, digital marketing, blah blah blah, and they will tell you based on that person will be superior in competence and knowledge and know-how compared to me who is trying to do this having been self-taught. So they will just conclude that person must know better. Oh, that person has a big office, he doesn't have a big office, he works from home. So they will think that makes them, that person or that other person, more qualified to comment. And guess what? I kept telling them, I said, you cannot use all those criteria to judge. The only criterion you will use to judge is the results I get. You have to look at the results I get, and that's the basis on which you can evaluate what I'm doing. If you cannot use the result that I get, if you refuse to use the result that I get, you will not be able to learn anything from my success. Because you see, regardless of what you are saying, I'm succeeding with what I'm doing. And I told you I was going to do it last month. I did it. I got results. I'm getting even more results now. And you are seeing it and you are still arguing. So clearly, you are in your own zone. You are just on your own. You are not ready to see reality. And that's what happens. So you've got to become somebody that's willing to look at what people tell you objectively. Become very analytical in your thinking. Look at the person that's telling you what it should be and ask yourself, what is the involvement of this person in this area of activity I'm engaged in? Is this person somebody that understands what it takes to sell in this field? Is he or she selling in this field? And if no, then be careful. Take it with a pinch of salt. Is this person somebody that can potentially be my customer and therefore be looking at me based on what I'm offering and looking at whether or not it's of interest that he or she can seriously decide to engage with me and buy from me? If no, take what the person is saying with a pinch of salt. All right. You've got to look at people based on what their own interests in that area of endeavor is. Sometimes people just want to talk because it's every human's right to express opinion. It doesn't mean that their opinion should carry weight with you. Learn sometimes to tune people out.